beautiful day here in Alaska, spring day. It's about 28 degrees. The sun's out, it's gorgeous. So I thought I'd come out and make a video. And I brought my wool blanket today, my bedroll here. And I thought I'd show you what you can do with a wool blanket and a few things. Mainly some blanket pins. So let's get started. So what you need is a wool blanket pins. Now these blanket pins are kind of like giant safety pins, but they're heavier duty. You can get them at the fabric store, or I got these at the local hardware store. You can get them online too. And then you need a blanket and a piece of rope or a sash, and we can make a coat without having to cut up our blanket or ruin it anyway. And the benefit is that if you're out and it gets the weather comes in and you need a coat, you got your wool blanket, and then if you still need it to sleep with, you haven't chopped it up and ruined it, so, or turned it into a coat that you can't use as a blanket. So let's show you how this is done. And this, for your knowledge, this is a queen size wool blanket. This is American made, Duluth, Minnesota. So, and just for record, I'm about 5'11", so you can tell the height here. But what we want to do, you can double it if you want double thickness all the way, but it's going to be shorter. So if you want something down to, say, your knees, then you want to do about 1/3 on the top, or on the front, 2/3 on the back, kind of like that. And then what you're going to do is just kind of swing it around yourself, and then you're going to kind of put it over your head here and make like a hood. And that's going to be your hood. And then you got to take one of these blanket pins and hook it right there below your chin. Oop, can't see me now. Kind of hook it below your chin, and there you've got your hood. Now you'll take another one of these pins. Now you don't need a pin on here. You can just wrap this around yourself and tie it with a string or your sash, but trying to get the rope around you and tie it, it's easier if you take the blanket pin and just hook this around you. And that'll hold it in place while you get your sash or your piece of rope, and then you can get that around you. Keeps it from falling away from you and getting behind you there. So take your sash, but if not, you can adjust that a little. Okay, so that's your basic. Now you can take this pin off now down here. You don't need that anymore. And then what you can do is take this one and you hook it kind of in the middle here, like that. And now you've got your coat. And you can walk, you can still carry stuff in your hands. You got double thickness up here on the shoulders, the back, and the head. And then it goes down to about your knees. And you can kind of just bring it in and tuck your hands in like that. Now, if you want to do any kind of physical activity, it's kind of limiting there, but you can undo this pin, and now it kind of opens you up a little, but you've got full range of motion. You can chop wood or carry or do any kind of activity you want, and you still got your head covered and your shoulders and your back, keeping some of that heat in. And then when you're done, you can just pin this back, wrap yourself up, and now you're in your nice little blanket, staying nice and warm. Pull this down a little. So there's your wool blanket. There's a no-sew jacket right there. And then when you're all done, the the weather gets nice, or if you're ready to camp, just untie your sash, undo your pins. Put it back in my pocket. And then you take your blanket and you're ready for the night. And your blanket's no worse for wear. And those pins, they won't really hurt your blanket too much. You know, the way they're pretty coarse weave, and they'll poke through and come out. And so they don't like a safety pin, doesn't really hurt your blanket. Fix this a little. It's a real easy way to make a coat out of a wool blanket. And if you're going to be using wool blankets, you should have a couple blanket pins, because a couple other things you can do with them is if you make like a sleeping bag with your wool blanket, you can pin the feet, so that way when you're rolling in the night you don't flop out of your blanket, your feet don't get cold. And so, blanket pins, they're only a couple bucks, and it's a useful thing. They're real, you can use them for other things. I guess you could mend your clothes with them or whatnot, but we'll just roll this up and be on our way here. This little harness here, I kind of made from some old straps I had laying around, and some buckles and straps. Made me a little blanket harness. I put my poncho down, put my blanket in it. I got a little adjustable strap here, so you can just throw it over your shoulder and about your way. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something, had a good time, and enjoyed the spring in Alaska here. So take care, and I'll see you on the next one.